Hello everybody, my name's Nerdy Lover and welcome to episode 5 of the Spanish La Liga version of our football betting show here on YouTube. We're going to quickly recap the bets from this weekend just gone before we get into our 4 selections for today's episode. So last week we took Celta de Vigo to beat Cadiz, a Cadiz team that still hasn't scored a goal to this point. We thought we were getting pretty decent value at 0.73. Our £20 stake did return £14.60, but unfortunately it was a losing week. On the Sunday, Bilbao hosted Espanyol. Odds of 0.6 were getting close to me questioning the value. We thought we were on for a win there, but unfortunately Bilbao did lose a late goal to Espanyol. We did forfeit our £20 stake, so we had a 50% record, winning one and losing one, and unfortunately, if we sum that, we lost £5.40 in the first weekend of September. So we're hoping to turn things around in our selections for this weekend, the 10th and 11th of September. Starting things off in mid-table for this episode, 12th place Girona host 16th place Valladolid, and both teams come into this match with 4 points on the board, but very different goal outputs. Girona has kept their scores quite low, scoring 4 and conceding 4, and Valladolid, a worrying ratio here, they've scored 2, but conceded 8 in just 4 games. Girona have played well this season, holding their own against established La Liga sides. They only lost by a single goal against Valencia and Cadiz, so there's no shame in this at all. They drew against Mallorca and shown improvements with a 3-1 win recently against Getafe. Girona are also averaging a 56% possession rate. True to their style of play, they prefer to hold the ball and create in that sort of City group mould. To that point, ex-Manchester City midfielder Alex Garcia has been their main man. Whilst he's yet to contribute to a goal, he has a very solid 93% pass completion rate, and he is creating 1.5 key chances per game. So I expect him to start racking up the assists for this season and probably finish at about the 10 to 12 assists range when all's said and done in May. There is a word of caution about Girona though, because they have not been able to keep a clean sheet in each of their 4 matches so far, so it's looking like they're going to need to score twice against Valladolid in order to pick up the win. On the other hand, Valladolid have been, less impressive for their 4 points. Their 2 losses coming in very uncompetitive fashion, losing 3-0 and 4-0 against Barcelona and Villarreal. Now, they do have to have some credit for managing a 1-1 draw against Sevilla, but Sevilla aren't up and running this season yet, so they would feel maybe a little bit aggrieved to have not taken all 3 points there. As with Girona, Valladolid did win last weekend. They managed a 1-0 win against fellow relegation candidate Almeria. But I'm not going to put too much stock into this win because I do expect Almeria to be down there, joining Valladolid in the relegation zone when all is said and done. Girona are playing good football. They're good value for their 4 points, and I think they're going to be the better side at home here. So we're going to be starting this episode by taking Girona at home against Valladolid on the exchange. Next up, we have bottom of the table, 20th place Cadiz hosting second top FC Barcelona. And as I said in the intro, Cadiz are still without a goal. They're the only side in the top 5 European divisions that haven't actually found the back of the net yet. And what makes matters worse is Cadiz really cannot defend. They're conceding an average of 2.5 goals per game. Simply woeful stuff from this side, which did narrowly avoid relegation last season. But they're early front-runners to visit the Segunda this year, unless they can turn something around. Barcelona, on the other hand, have returned to winning ways as Xavi has steadied the ship and brought well in the off-season. Barcelona should be mounting themselves for a very competitive title challenge with Real Madrid. To that point, Barcelona are one of 2 teams, the other being Madrid, that are unbeaten in La Liga so far this season. And when we look at the head-to-head record, Barcelona have won each of the last 4 matches against Cadiz since they were promoted from the Segunda, and they won the 2 games last year by a margin of 11 goals to 1. Robert Lewandowski will be licking his lips ahead of today's game, as he will look to add to his 5 league goals in 4 starts. Barcelona are too short for the money line here, but we're going to put them in an accumulator There's a little bit of risk carries here. I would love to do an Asian handicap -1, but unfortunately the Betfair Sportsbook does not offer that. We have a standard handicap at Barcelona -1 at 8 to 11 or 4 to 5. So essentially, Barcelona need to win by 2 goals or more. If they win by a single goal, we lose our stake, and any other result, we lose our stake. Against a side that hasn't scored at all, I'm not feeling too scared about this, but I just wanted to say there's a bit of caution about this handicap because it's not on the Asian line on the exchange. So the first leg of our double will be Barcelona -1 handicap. Our second selection in the accumulator sees the other unbeaten side, first place Real Madrid hosting 11th place Mallorca. Real Madrid are not only unbeaten, they're perfect so far in this division with 4 wins from 4, outscoring their opponents by 11 goals to 4. Now, they have conceded in each of their La Liga games, so a word of caution if you're thinking of tipping the handicap market with Los Blancos at home. Mallorca have started fairly okay this season, and it's reflected by their mid-table placement coming into today's match, with 1 win, 2 draws, and a single defeat so far. When we look at the head-to-head, Real Madrid won 6 points from Mallorca last season, outscoring them by a margin of 9 goals to 1. It's been quite a one-sided fixture in the last couple of meetings. Real Madrid are too short, at about 1 to 4 on the money line to take on the exchange as a single. And I did flirt with the idea of adding them into the Barcelona selection on the money line to get a little bit of extra value, but I think I may have found a different angle. So what I did is I created a table. When we look at Real Madrid's 4 games in La Liga so far, they start slow and then they turn it on in the second half. Almeria, they were losing 1-0 at half-time. Second half, they won 2-0 to win 2-1 overall. And so on and so forth in the Celta, Espanyol and Betis games. In fact, if the football match was only 45 minutes, Real Madrid would only have 6 points to this stage in the season and would be right next to Mallorca in the table. But obviously, when we take into account the totality and the second half form as well as the first half, they are good for their 12 points so far. Even last night in the Champions League, Real Madrid were drawing 0-0 with Celtic away from home and then won the second half by 3 goals to 0. So that's going to be our angle. It's going to be Real Madrid not to win the match, but to win the second half. They've done it in each of their 5 competitive games this season. We add that to Barcelona into our double for extra value. Our final selection in today's episode sees 13th place Almeria hosting 5th place Osasuna. And Almeria were one of my favourites to go down before the season began, but they have started okay. A competent display against Real Madrid on match day 1. Okay, they lost, but they were leading in that game. They then managed to pick up a win against a struggling Sevilla side before losing to their relegation rival Real Valladolid. This 3 points could make all the difference by the end of the year, but sitting here in September, it's way too early to tell. Almeria have failed to keep a clean sheet in each of their La Liga games so far, and they are under quite a lot of pressure defensively, as is evidenced by their standout player. Ahead of the pack is goalkeeper Fernando Martinez. The 32-year-old shot stopper has an 83% save rate and is being called upon an average of 9 times per game. Whilst the goalkeeper has done okay so far, the defence is conceding 9 or more shots on target per game. This is not a sustainable number for long-term success, and I fancy them to start to fall down the table unless something changes. Osasuna come into this one on the strong showing last week, winning 2-1 against Rayo Vallecano. 9 points from 4 games, and the only loss of the season coming to a strong Real Betis side, and there's no shame in that. To add to Osasuna's strength, they are converting 11% of their shots and averaging 3 key chances per game on the back of 13 shot attempts per game. I fear the worst for Almeria here, and I'm going to be taking Osasuna to win in a single away from home in the last bet of today's episode. With all our selections declared for all to see, the only thing to do is to have a quick recap on the spreadsheet, so I'll see you there shortly. And just like that, another match day evaluated. We're going to be coming away from our analysis here with 3 bets on the cards. Girona host Valladolid on the Friday evening at odds of better than 6 to 5 at 1.32. A £20 stake would return 26.39. Second selection involved a double Barcelona -1 on the handicap line. Word of caution, it is the handicap line and not the Asian handicap line, so if Barcelona do win by a single goal, we are screwed. The second leg is Real Madrid to win in the second half only, as this is a feat they've done 5 times in 5 competitive games. Odds of 1.59, a £20 stake would return £31.80 on the Sunday for us. And then our final game takes place on the Monday evening, Almeria Osasuna. We're going to be taking Osasuna here at odds of about 3-2, a £20 stake to return £32 sterling. So, across our 3 bets, we're going to be risking £60 in order to hopefully pick up £90.19. What a nice little payday that would be. Even if we go 2 for 3, we can still turn a profit here, and it's all about just building that kitty up in the early stages of the season. So, to find out whether we were successful or not, please join me for next episode. If you made it to this point in the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. My name's been Nerdy Lover, and as always, have yourself a lovely day.